And we are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Erthacast. It's awesome to see everyone here. My name is Zayon. I'm the head of community for Ertha, and joining me today, of course, is Spintop's head of business development, Yalın, and the game master of Ertha, Linas. Welcome, gentlemen. It's wonderful to have you on. And so let's start right away with introductions. Yalın, could you introduce yourself to our viewers and tell them a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Of course, thank you. And first of all, thank you for your time and thanks for hosting us. My name is Yalın Büyükdora. I was born and raised in Istanbul. I went to high school in Istanbul, then I studied in Chicago. So I spent about 11 years there for my college studies and also working in a digital agency for 7 years. I moved back home to Istanbul in 2018 and I joined Spintop this February actually. So it's approaching a year now. Because of my previous background in professional life, I joined as head of growth and marketing, but I recently switched, as you said, Aeon, to head of business development and investor relations because currently we're going through a very important time to raise funds to accelerate our growth. We're totally focused on building our products during this bear market conditions because our goal is to become the ultimate Web3 ecosystem, which is a huge goal. It's not that easy. So right now we're fully focused on building our products as well as fundraising.
Okay, awesome. That's an awesome introduction. All right, and now for Ertha, for Linas, could you introduce yourself to the viewers that are joining us from Spintop's side? Maybe they want to know a little bit more about you as well.
Sure, Ryan. So yeah, well, my name is Linas, and I'm the game master of ERTHA. So what that means is that I'm responsible for creating the game, for creating the economy of it, all the politics and all the different parts of the game to work together as a whole. So yeah, it's a hard process, but we're making huge steps in here. So that's what I do.
Awesome. Awesome. All right, so give me a second. I'll just take a moment to introduce the schedule of today's event itself. So first of all, we're going to jump into a discussion about Ertha, Spintop, and other various topics that will come up that are related to the crypto and blockchain world. Then in the second part of the broadcast, it'll be time for chat to ask their own questions. Everybody will have a chance to ask a question, any question they want, basically, and they can start thinking about it right away from the start. So also, we are running a huge giveaway featuring Spintop, so make sure to join for a chance to win NFT prizes. At the end of the stream, we'll also give away an exclusive bonus code that will give additional entries into the giveaway. The only way to get it will be through the stream, so make sure to stay tuned till the very end. I'll also link the giveaway in chat in just a few seconds. So without further ado, let's dive straight in. Since Spintop is our guest in today's Erthacast, they have the honor of going first, of course. So, Yalın, could you let our viewers know what Spintop is? Imagine someone hearing the word Spintop for the first time. What would you say to bring them up to speed?
Of course, thank you. So I'll start with what we believe in. Why are we building Spintop? So we believe that the gaming industry's migration to Web3 is inevitable. So that's like the main core of what we believe in. I think we're witnessing this. You guys are on the game developer side, we are on the platform development side, so we work hand in hand together. So we are the ones witnessing this change as gamers and game lovers ourselves. We believe that it's inevitable that crypto, blockchain technology, and Web3 overall will influence gaming sector, which is huge. As we know, like more than 3 billion people are gamers in this world from 7 to 70 years old. It's a $300 billion industry. And as we know, if you dive deep into numbers, actually the blockchain usage percentages, the ratios are really high when it comes to gaming. So this goes to show that blockchain itself, use case wise, it goes hand in hand with gaming. So there's a major adoption case for blockchain ownership of in-game assets. I think it's a huge deal right now. For instance, I love playing FIFA, for example. But if I'm investing money, like real money in FIFA 22, now FIFA 23 just came out. So what happened to all the money that I spent last year? it kind of went straight to EA Sports, and now I'm at a loss. I don't want to do that anymore. I think this is my logic. I think this logic will make sense for hardcore gamers themselves again. We're kind of feeling this resistance. Maybe you know the same thing, that understandably so, people are not like play to earn came about, right? So play to earn, we're as Spintop, our point of view against that is kind of against that, because we play games to have fun, right? Like to spend time, to have fun, to have a good time, not necessarily to earn primarily. But on top of it, like if you're having fun, if you're having a good time, like what if you earn? So have fun and earn, I think, is what we believe in. So there's also like earning possibility while having fun is what I'm saying. So there's in Web3 gaming, we believe that there's this scattered nature, like all these things, like there's a lot of developments going on. There's platforms happening. There's like chains right there, and then there's games. So the scattered nature of Web3 gaming is what we saw as a problem, and we want to attack that problem, build a platform as Spintop, and bring together. We kind of think of it kind of like the Steam of Web3 gaming, if you will. And so yeah, we're trying to build the ultimate one-stop shop for Web3 gaming, and we want to position ourselves as the aggregator by pushing, for example, Google search ads for every single Web3 game out there and to people, and then pulling them to Gamepedia, which you guys are featured on, where people can see, you know, the beta version of the game, the trailer, read community written reviews, ratings, and all. So we want to bring people together as the aggregator tool. And then once they get involved in Spintop's platform, in the community, they can make use of it in our different services, be it the launchpad, be it staking in the farms and pools, etc. So, and then our Guildmaker tool is coming up, which we're really excited about. We recently launched the landing page for it. If I were to summarize Guildmaker, it's a meeting ground of NFT owners and the players, where let's say you own an NFT, you come to Guildmaker, we wrap your NFT automatically in a completely decentralized, trustless manner. Also, the gamers are able to take this depending on their ratings, obviously. So some criteria is set by the NFT owners. And then the revenue, the earnings of the game is shared by the players and the NFT owners. So that's some product that we're really excited about. And then on top of it, we're going to be building NFT marketplace, fully focused on gaming, of course. So yeah, so in short, Spintop, we aim to become a platform where an ecosystem, a community of gamers of the future come together, be it the investors, be it the traders, or the gamers themselves. Yeah.
All right, awesome. Yeah, sounds like Spintop is doing a lot of things at once, a lot of important things. Yeah. Actually, you mentioned a very important and a very interesting dynamic, I think. I want to go back to that. So you mentioned how gamers are looking for fun. They want a fun game, a good game to play, right? Yeah. But now there's been a dynamic shift where players also want to earn something from playing the game, right? Yeah. And I'm just thinking about companies in general. How in the past 20 to 30 years the dynamic shifted of game development altogether. So let's say 20 years ago, let's take the same example, EA Games, right? They made games and they made games, multiple games a year, but when a game was released, when a game was sold to players and when players played it, it was not monetized any more than the initial sale of the game itself, right? And now over the past like 15, 20 years, there's been a huge shift to where companies started to monetize every single thing about games they can, right? Like skins, like FIFA playing cards, like you mentioned, like things like that, like even like name changes and like server transfers, right? Like they're all monetized. Yeah. And so I think what's happening now is that there's a huge shift starting to appear from game developers that they want to hand the tools for players to earn back the money they spent on gaming, right? Because back like 20 years ago, you used to purchase a game, and then you could just play the game forever, right? Like you could just play, that's it. Like you didn't need to pay anymore. And now think about how much the average gamer spends on games like every year. Like I think the average would be like in the thousands, right? Like so the tools for game developers to actually create the tools for the like players, the whole world's gaming community to actually like earn back the money they spent is like, I think, a huge shift that's happening in the whole space. And it sounds like Spintop is trying to be a huge part of that shift and trying to make players really focus on the whole Web3 GameFi space in general. Yeah, so maybe Linus, you can add any thoughts. What do you think about it? Like how has your gaming life changed from 20 years ago when you were like young to like now? Like if you still play any games at the current year, like could you just
So first of all, I'm really glad that we have such amazing partners who really think in the same way that we do, where essentially we need games in this sphere that are actually interesting, not just the games that are made to somewhat earn money, which is not very different from like going to a job that you don't like to do things that you don't like to earn money. And I think that the goal should be that you should enjoy playing a game, and then if you're good at it, you can earn money from it. So I'm glad that you said that. And from my gaming experience, since I've played a lot of MMORPGs, it's kind of similar to what our guest said about FIFA. When you play a game on a specific server, that server might be wiped or restarted, rebooted, and then what? You might have spent, your money on that, and you made a good character, you leveled it up, and then you're starting from scratch. You can do that once, twice, like 10 times, but then what? It's not interesting at all. Even if you have like a lot of updates and a lot of new maps or stuff like that, it's like you don't want to always start from scratch. So
exactly.
I think that's crypto might enable that in games where you could potentially not do that. You could start from where you left on and maybe even transfer it to some new version of the game or even another game.
Yeah, so like ERTHA is sorry, go ahead, Yalın.
It just reminded me of something what you just said, because I studied psychology in college, and it reminded me, like, the term Stockholm syndrome. Like you lose your server, you lose the money you spent, you keep on playing. I think it doesn't make sense, right? So people, gamers, as a gamer, I realized I have fun. Of course, I'm going to keep on playing. But I think it's not ideal. I think it will be ideal when Web3 also technology-wise develops even further, that this in-game ownership of assets is very key. And also time is money, they say, especially in America, right? So like we're spending, dedicating so much time playing these games, and it would be nice to earn something while playing, and buy a beer or buy whatever you want, in your life while playing the game.
Yeah, and of course, earning still, not everyone can earn, right? Like you still need to spend a certain amount of time, have a certain amount of skill, things, because otherwise it wouldn't make too much sense, if everyone could literally everyone earn. But yeah, so it's still gonna have the dynamic, and like especially ERTHA, you're gonna have to have a lot of real life brains, and put them to use inside the game. But once you have those skills, or once you learn those skills in ERTHA and bring them back to the real world, it's like that's, I think, the point of Metaverse, right? Like you shouldn't really differentiate between real life and metaverses, because a metaverse is online, but you still do the same thing inside a metaverse as you do in real life. Like that's kind of the point, right? So Linus, what do you think about ERTHA? Like, will we have a lot of players just confuse real life with Eartha. Maybe Eartha will become their, like their main life. Maybe their real life will just be, eating food and just keeping their body alive. But maybe players will just fully start living inside the Eartha metaverse. Like, what do you think?
Well, I remember, the days when we went to school and played probably Lineage 2, and it kind of few years of my life was like on there, essentially playing for the character that I play, leveling it up, and like the real life was like something put onto the second layer of all the layers, not the first one. So I think so it's possible, so that would happen. So I think that probably if you really like what you're doing and you have friends there, you can have social interactions, you have, your valuable assets that could be even items or money inside the game, it kind of becomes like an integral part of your life. And I really, really want to make it so that if you earn something inside the game and you have something inside the game, so that it would be yours. It wouldn't be something that we could just delete, if we want to, or like remove it from the game, or make it so that you would feel that you lost something without actually losing it.
Yeah. And I think sometimes we get lost in terms such as metaverse, Web3. It's all about development. Like life goes on, technology evolves, gaming will evolve. Like it's inevitable. But also, gaming is all about community. You just mentioned, Linus, that like you're leveling up. Yes, you kind of like phrased it in a way that it's life and like not real life and real life. But I think it's everything is real life, because in the gaming there's a community aspect too, right? Like so you're interacting with your friends, even if it's solo, like multiplayer game. Of course, you're multiplayer, that has directly the community aspect of it. But even if it's a solo game, like you can talk about your success, your failures, and everything with your friends. You can compare, and then you can do 1v1 like games or matches, etc. For example, I remember one of the first games that I played was Red Alert: Command and Conquer. I was born 1988, so this is like year 98 or something. My mom, when she went to the States, she brought it to me. I still want to play it, by the way. It's an amazing game. Uh, I would do skirmish modes, play myself, but talk about it to my friends. Even my uncle would play it. My cousin would play it. Like we would talk about it. I think overall, it's all about community. There's a social aspect of gaming that's never gonna die, whether it's metaverse, like single verse, multiverse, or real verse. And I want to talk about Eartha also. I love what you guys are building. I used to love, not to compare, but SimCity. Like it reminds me of it. Like there's so much philosophy behind it, like the butterfly effect philosophy in your game, because whatever you do, the tiny little things that you do in your game affects the whole world or your city. It's all about balance, like agriculture, city planning. It reminds me of a class that I took, urban sociology, which was one of my favorites. How, like, for example, in New York City, there's a Central Park. If imagine removing Central Park, it would be a dead city. Like, so, like how the city planning affects the lives of people, the interactions that are built. I'm really looking forward to playing your game, actually. So it's very exciting. And I always say, for Spintop to grow, we need people like you guys. We need games like you guys, so that this whole ecosystem grows.
Yeah, we've actually talked about it in a few podcasts before that. Like this whole Web3 space, Web3 space, it's really a group effort, right? Like everyone's doing something that can really benefit players or financial traders, people like that. It's really a group effort to just bring the whole space up. And so you actually mentioned like the community aspect of the game, and I think the community aspect in Eartha will be very, very strong because, well, there's so much you can do. There's so much you can make friends, you can make enemies, you can fight, you can trade, you can do so many things. And well, it actually going back to like the people living inside the metaverse thing. So like 5 years ago, like in 2017, I used to play a lot of GTA 5 or RP. I'm not sure if you guys know what that is, but it's basically role play where you just think of yourself as an actor. You play a character, right? And I used to play that for like 6 months straight. I think I played about an average of 10-12 hours a day. I'm not kidding, by the way.
Wow.
Yeah, I played so much, it like honestly kind of became part of my, well, not part of my life, it like literally became the main part of my life. And I think if the social aspect in these games and in Eartha is enough, like I think that's what's going to happen also, especially if people can start earning money, because the only thing that kept me at least somewhat sane, you know, somewhat inside this like physical world, is the fact that, well, I still needed to you know, make food and get money to buy that food. You know, I couldn't just literally wake up, start the game up, and just play until I go to sleep, right? Like I still needed to do things. But I think once this space just, you know, pushes forward enough to really make this virtual world not that far off from the real world, we're gonna see a lot of interesting things like happening with society, with communities and things like that. I'm honestly not sure if it's gonna be for better or worse. I guess we'll have to see, because like a lot of technologies nowadays, they seem to have a very large set of pros as well as cons, you know. Like there's a very good balance you need to find between some technologies that are coming into our lives, like especially in like 2022, 2021. So it's going to be really interesting to like see how this whole space develops, and whether it's for the betterment of humanity or for worse. So I actually want to know, so about Spintop, so what are your like current focuses? Like what are you trying to master at the moment? Like is it getting more games on board, or is it like other things? Like could you talk about that for a sec?
Yeah, first, primarily, I'm gonna repeat myself a bit, but it's community building. That's at the core. So we have so far, I'll be honest, our community is mainly composed of investors and traders. We are lacking, I'll be honest, in the gamers community aspect of it, which is kind of out of our control, because the games are being developed, high quality games like you guys. As gamers, you know, migrate from Web 2 to Web 3, I think we're gonna have more gamers within our ecosystem. That's gonna level up things for us. So that's one thing, community building. But primarily our focus is product building. So, and I'm not gonna say a product. I'm gonna say maybe like a service, because as I said, to summarize, we are an aggregator, right? People will come to Spintop's platform if they're searching for a game, for instance. They will get educated, informed, read news and everything on the platform. And then once they're in, they're going to discover our other services, such as if they want to stake the coin, they will be able to. If they want to make a farm, they will be able to on Spindex. Or if they want to join a project from the get-go, they can be a part of the launchpad, the Spin Starter. Or if they are NFT owners, they can, you know, join Guildmaker, stake their NFT, and we'll wrap it for them, and then make use of it. So these are the utility-driven services that we're offering our community. So in the bear market, as you guys know, we are fully focused on building these products. Guildmaker is a top choice. We had started with Gamepedia, which is at the core of our business, the main aggregator, the traffic source. So that was one of our first products. So we have come up with the version 2 of it recently, where you can not only read about games, but also read news articles. We want to improve that also, like, because it would be nice if it was. What if it was a source where you could get all the news about Web3 blockchain gaming, right? So that's one of our ideals. So I'm gonna summarize: community building and product building, like these two things. Yeah.
All right, awesome. Actually, you mentioned gamers, right? You really want to attract more gamers into
Right.
your space, right? And I think there's currently still a bit of a discourse between Web3 and actual gamers. I feel like
Yeah.
the general gaming community really has the opinion that they don't want Web3 to come into mainstream gaming. They don't want crypto to come into
Yeah.
Web3 gaming, and especially during
Yeah.
conditions like now, where well, crypto is not in the spotlight, not in the spotlight currently. Since like the start of this year when Bitcoin really went down, there's really been almost zero talks about like Bitcoin and just crypto in general in the mainstream media and things like that. You know, especially good article. Well, I'm talking about good as in like you know, bullish articles. Everything is just bearish,
Bullish
bearish,
article.
bearish. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So gamers really need to see a shift in mentality. I think some gamers think, or most of gamers think, that Web3 is coming into this space to take even more money away from them. And I
Yeah.
believe that is
Yeah.
not the case at all. I believe that, well, developers like us, like ERTHA, and other games that are on Spintop, and basically a lot of the Web3 space in general, is trying to give back the tools to the people, right? And so
Yeah.
I think there's going to be in the next few years, and maybe especially during like the next bull run, whenever that comes, there's going to be a shift in mentality from the mainstream gaming community as well. I think I'm just guessing here, and I hope honestly, because games like even like GTA 6 has recently been leaked. Like a lot of development footage and like information has been leaked of GTA 6, and
Yeah.
there's actually a very interesting thing there. GTA 6 might have some sort of crypto functionality, not like actual blockchain functionality. I don't think, but there,
cool.
yeah, but there are rumors that there is going to be an in-game cryptocurrency, basically. So I think things like that will really bring the community of gamers on board to Web3. At least it will make it more visible to the community, you know, of gamers. So I guess,
Yeah.
I guess we'll see. And I think especially things like free NFTs, Reddit is currently doing an interesting thing. It's actually very amazing how they got their NFTs to trend so much during a bear market, but they did it pretty much only using free NFTs. They marketed their whole NFT avatar system just by giving away some of the NFTs just for free for people to just learn and you know, just really start integrating themselves into the NFT space. So yeah, I think that's going to be really interesting. And like Lena, so maybe you can add your thoughts to this. Like, do you think the NFT like whole sentiment of NFTs will shift in the next few years towards NFTs having more functionality and maybe costing less, or some NFTs being free? What do you think about that?
I do think it's inevitable that NFTs will become like integral part of our like internet lives, since the whole world is shifting step by step to the Web3 platforms. Of course, it's like not yet fully developed, so we need to do a lot of stuff to, well, when creating a game, we have a lot of you know, things we have to do ourselves to be able to give those NFTs for the players, to have that, you know, ability to interconnect different metaverses with those items, since all of that is not yet created as a platform, you know. But I do think that in a few years it will become much more like natural thing for even, you know, people who are in Twitter, in Reddit, or in, you know, even Facebook. They will get their own NFTs, like they will get badges, or like their avatars there will become their own NFTs that they have, you know. Whether it will happen so that they will be able to sell them or trade them with other people, we'll see, you know. But I think that they will get used to that, and that will only be easier and easier for games to integrate that into their ecosystem. So I think, you know, it's since it's the very start at the moment, it's hard, and it's hard to see, you know, how it will look like after a few years. but I think it will be a really cool time for gamers to live in.
Yeah, well, the whole
Yeah.
space is moving so fast. There's really like you don't know what's gonna happen like tomorrow or like in a few weeks, in a few months especially. So maybe Yalın, you can talk about like how has Spintop managed with like the fast pace of the whole market and Web3 space, like because you start on one thing and a month later it's a completely different environment, right? And you still have to finish the thing you started on. So like maybe you can talk about that. How has that been going for you guys?
Right. I mean, so first of all, we got public in December, so we were literally born into the bear market. So that's like the financial aspect of it. But I think the fundamentals for us, at least philosophically, what we believe in, like this in-game ownership, and I agree completely that I think NFTs will be vital, especially in gaming. And as gamers ourselves, we believe in in-game ownership. Like if we are spending time and money, we should own it, and that's so clear, at least in my mind. And I think this is a fundamental logic that's not going to change, and people will adapt to it. And this is very normal. The technology adoption life cycle, it's like a curve where there's the innovators, the early adopters, the majority, and then like the laggards come later. And I think we're kind of like at this resistant point where the innovators have come, meaning for example our us people, and then the early adopters are coming. So we are here seeing this resistance point, and then it's going to be majority later on. And then obviously the fact that um, the, the transfer of, I think the association of bitcoins, going up and down, or this all the crypto prices going up and down, it kind of like affects badly into gaming sector. Maybe I hope that it dissociates in the future. It becomes more stable as more high quality games come into play. And I hope that in the future we're going to be having more stable lives, all of us. But yeah, we're constantly trying to adapt. Our CTO is like on top of everything all the time, like following the news. He's hopeful about the future. Like we're seeing that, for instance, one of the things that we bring up is in the games, when you connect your wallet, like you have to sign for every single transaction. This is not a good user experience. Hopefully, in the future, with certain developments, this is going to change. It's going to be a smoother experience. So yeah, we need to, as platform developers, as game developers like yourselves, we need to be on top of all these changes because, as I mentioned, we are the innovators. The adopters will follow, but then I really hope and I believe that the majority will come later on.
Yeah, it's really a double-edged sword of crypto state is stabilizing, like because obviously as more people adopt crypto, especially like big institutions, banks and things like that,
Yeah.
it should stabilize, right? But again, it's a double-edged sword because, well, currently the crypto highs, are really really high and the lows are really really low. Like it's just
Yeah.
a cycle of this, and it's, well, I think there's no such other opportunity in the world whenever crypto is pumping. Like crypto pumps are just, well, bull markets are just insane. Everything is going crazy. People are going crazy. 100 more times people are joining the whole space, and then in the bear market it just looks like everything is dead. No one can do anything, and no one's talking about it. So it's really two extremes at the top and at the bottom. So but when it goes mainstream, do you think things like regulation, control, and maybe like even government misuse will come into crypto, like governments using crypto as a control, well, using blockchain as their like tool of control? Like, do you think that's possible? Because once it goes mainstream, right, like there's no going back. Like the SEC
Right.
in the United States is already and has already been talking about regulation and things like that. So what do you think about that? Like, do you see crypto still staying somewhat as it is currently, where it's really just kind of the wild west of the financial world, or do you think it'll just become the same thing, pretty much the same thing as stocks and like
Well,
other investments?
I mean, it's a great question. I think we need to go back to where it all started. I'm gonna go back to Nixon years when USD dollar had something in exchange for it, which was the gold standard, right? When it was lifted, then it's just a piece of paper. So after that, everything is gone. In at least from my economical philosophical perspective, once the American government took that decision, it's a piece of paper which you can print, however much. Then you get taxed on it as a U.S. citizen. Then the banks are failing you, as we saw in the 2008 crisis, right? The mortgage crisis when Obama was getting elected and all that. I was in college. I remember vividly those days in the States. And then came about Bitcoin. Why? Because, okay, like you print the money, which has nothing, like not a gold standard or anything. You tax us, and then we bail out the banks. Okay, so let's make a decentralized effort to make it more fair. I think it completely makes sense. But now it's becoming too huge, and things like certain things are coming out about where you can get interest on U.S. stablecoins, which is totally higher than what a U.S. bank could give you. So this is a threat against U.S. banks and all that. So the Terra, I'm not endorsing anything, but I have with my ears, I have heard Janet Yellen, who used to be the Fed chair, saying there are certain algorithmic stablecoins which we are afraid of. 2 days later, we saw the whole Terra system collapse. So, yeah, the government is definitely coming into play. I don't know how it's going to work. I think regulation we cannot escape. We are seeing Binance, coming to Turkey where we are from. They're opening up offices. They're in France opening offices, etc. So they like the big players in the game are working hand in hand with the government. I'm kind of afraid if this decentralized system will become centralized, but I hope not. But I don't have a clear answer for that. But I hope the technology, at least, I'm not hopeful. I'm sure that this technology will affect many parts of our lives, be it gaming, be it money transfer, be it logistics, supply chain and everything. Like using blockchain and Web3 will be very helpful in many sectors, and hopefully it will be free. But for sure, something has changed. Like Nasdaq and S&P, like all these stock indices were moving, for instance, this way. Blockchain was moving, crypto was moving this way. Now they're all parallel. It's all algorithmic trading. So we kind of lost that because it's become mainstream. Like the big players came into play. But at least it's like a leveraged version of Nasdaq, for instance, the crypto, which if you're using it for a financial purpose other than gaming, you can still use it in that way.
The tools that are completely decentralized, still. Maybe they'll do some new ways that we haven't even thought about how to just completely avoid control, So it'll be really interesting to see because the technology itself is here. Like there's no changing that, right? Like we have the tool in our hands and it's up to us, up to the people in Web3, up to the developers to just really think of ways to put it to the best use for humanity as we can, basically, like we're trying to do at ERTHA, like Linus is trying to develop the game he always wanted to see, basically, in the world. So I think whatever happens, whether governments get involved or how much they get involved, there's still going to be communities and ways and tools for us, those people who want decentralization, to just really flourish in this space. I think there's no changing that. There's no stopping that. So what do you think, Linus? Maybe you have some thoughts.
It probably the whole world is going to that, to giving power to the person. It's like going there, and I don't think there's a stop for that. Obviously, it's way better for countries and for governments to have more control over the people so that they could do whatever they agree on doing. But I think the times are changing, and all the blockchain development, everything that is happening with all the internet itself. Before, a person had way less influence over anything. And now when we
Yeah.
have, social networks, when we have internet, when we have blockchain, more and more power goes to actually the person itself. So I think this trend will continue to be in, and it's inevitable. And there will be, I think, kind of like a war between the people who want to take control and the people and the world where it's going, but in my opinion, it's inevitable that it will go into the way so that the person will decide.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, exactly. And well, I may be jumping to like a conspiracy theory topic here, but I think it's still interesting to talk about. So like the most recent crypto crash, right? Like, do you think there is a possibility that it was somewhat orchestrated by governments to really well, the whole cycle of crypto in general, the pump and dump, the bull run and then the huge crash? Like, do you think it's kind of a way to, like, if it were to be manipulated, if it were to be purposefully made like that, do you think that would make people wary of crypto, and that would be a tool for governments to like say that crypto is bad, to regulate crypto, people are losing money, this is a good excuse to regulate because it's unpredictable and things like that, like they've been doing? Like, what do you think about that?
First of all, I think the crypto has a bad reputation. But if you follow the S&P and Nasdaq lines, it's just the same thing. Like, because the Fed when the Fed raises the rates, there's more demand for USD, US dollar. So, like the dollar will follow safer grounds. So if the interest rates are higher, it's gonna get out of the stocks. It's gonna get out of crypto even more. As we saw, like trillions of dollars were wiped out. It's gonna go to safer places. So I don't think it's a conspiracy, but the media or whoever is controlling the information spread is making a bad reputation out of crypto. And also because it's a leverage version of normal indices, people get hurt more. But if you were going to get into conspiracies, I think what happened to Terra, it is a dangerous system, how it's set up. But I think it was definitely orchestrated by some forces outside of Korea or Singapore, because I heard Janet Yellen with my ears. I was at the office, actually, at Spintop office. We were working on something. She was mentioning, like, there's this algorithmic coin, what are they doing? And then we see 2 days later, the Terra, all the system is going down. Yeah, I mean, it's like, I mean, I was getting like, what, 20% interest on USD, like stable coin. Like, which bank in the whole world gives me? No bank. Like, if this system were to exist, all the banks would fail, kind of thing. So like, these are, like, between nations, between governments, between systems, between banks, and all these things, that there's certain races going on, because it's a shift. So
Exactly.
yeah, I think we will see these things happening in the future too.
Exactly, yeah. And you mentioned the day that Terra Luna crashed. I remember it like it was yesterday. Linus and I were sitting at the office. Like, we got in at around like 9 a.m., I think, something like that, or like 10 a.m. And just from the start of that morning, it was already a bit shaky. Like, I think UST was about like 95, 96 cents maybe. We were talking about it like the day before. And then from about 10 in the morning to like 3 or 4 p.m, it was just the craziest thing I've ever seen, honestly. Like, Luna and UST, like, I had the charts up on the screen next to me, and it was just falling and falling and falling and falling and falling. It was honestly one of the craziest days, maybe the craziest day in crypto I have ever experienced.
Same here.
Yeah, and also I think the day after the like the major UST collapse, USDT also experienced a lot of shakiness. I think it fell like to 97 cents or something like that, or even like 95 cents. I'm honestly not sure, but it fell an insane amount compared to what it was previously been doing. And like, I think it was like also a way for someone could have used that opportunity to just, really make USDT seem unstable and just really make the market panic as much as it possibly can at that moment. And it did. Like Bitcoin, in that time period, Bitcoin fell to like 16 something thousand, or what was it, like 16, 17,000, I think, like was the bottom, and Ethereum fell.
That big whales come and they
Exactly.
they wipe the floor.
Exactly. Ethereum was like at $850, I think, and well, even now, like we've been.
I remember that.
Yeah. Even now, it's like at 1.3, and it was 1.8 at one point, like a few months ago. Well, when the merge happened, it was like 1.750 or something like that. So yeah, just these insane market swings, even in bear markets, are just crazy to think about. And like they're not just some of them of course are just natural market movement, but like some parts of it just seem so orchestrated that the narrative, if you can really crack the narrative, if you can really start thinking about what the dynamics of like the government and the people are, I think you can make a lot of money just from like guessing what's gonna happen next with the narrative. So yeah, like maybe Linus, maybe you can mention like what were your thoughts during like the day of the Luna collapse? Like what were you thinking?
Oh yeah, it was like watching an event that will become history, that is written in books, happen in front of you. So it's like like watching a movie. I think so. That was the feeling back then, and it's pretty hard for us as people to know whether it's influenced by someone or not. You always can go into certain like let's say into theories that would not be proven or not, but I think that if I would want to control people, that would be what I would do, exactly what happened in Terra's ecosystem. So
yeah,
that's probably
it happened.
what happened.
I mean, it didn't help how Doc One handled it either.
True,
Exactly.
true. Yeah, and it's a whole new, another thing about them looking for him. Like, I think they're still looking for him, right? Like, they haven't arrested him.
I heard that he's on the run. He's laying low. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's like a theory that he could be in North Korea. It's a bit crazy. Like the crazy things haven't stopped yet. Like it's still going, and the story is still continuing. Yeah, because he's wanted in like 150 countries now because of like Interpol and things like that. So yeah,
and
but
there's still like new Luna out, which is kind of doing somewhat good. So
yeah. Like a few months ago, there was a huge like Luna Classic, or like not Luna Classic, like the new Luna Pump. Like there was just so many crazy market movements. But
I wish the best for ERTHA Pump.
Yeah, for sure. Spintop as well, of course. So.
Same for Spintop.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, I think it could be the perfect time to wrap up our main discussion. So maybe we can just start moving towards questions from Twitch chat. So hopefully both ERTHA's and Spintop communities have learned something new today. I really enjoyed this discussion, especially going into conspiracy theories. So before the final question, people in chat, you can start asking your questions now. So anything you want answered, just let us know. We'll pick a few questions that we think are the best or are the best to answer. So the last question for Spintop, Yalın, where do you see Spintop in 5 years time? Like, I know the space is moving so fast that it's a really hard question, but like, what do you imagine, what do you want Spintop to be in about like 3, 4, 5 years?
It's a great number because that's actually, we always imagine ourselves like 4 years from now, 5 years from now. It would be amazing if Spintop became like kind of like a universe of all the games. I'm not even going to call it Web3 because it's going to be the games of those times coming together, like good quality games, good quality players, any level they want, be it casual games, AAA games, mid-level games, whatever. Like all the games combined on this platform, people interacting, they're coming together, meeting each other, like designing tournaments. There's like pools for tournaments, etc. Like people earning money, like owning their own stuff, like all these things combined. I'm just imagining like an ideal world, like how you guys are imagining in Eartha, building your. It would be like an ideal community of gamers on Spintop platform. Yeah.
All right, perfect. Okay, and actually, I see one question in chat that was asked a bit ago. So how do you? I mean, how many people do you have working at Spintop? Someone wants to know.
So as I said, our coin launched in December. So now we are approaching 25. We're about 25 people. Yeah, we're working remotely, but we always also like come together. Yeah, so we are young gamers committed to the cause. So yeah, we're growing, and as I said, we're leading our growth efforts, not just in marketing, but also in terms of like fundraising. So we hope to reach 35 within the next 6 months. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably gonna be like a big challenge during like the bear market, right? Like expanding during the bear market, it's a big challenge, right? But yeah, but if you can pull it off, then if you get ready for the next bull run, it's gonna be it's gonna be incredible. Yeah, all right. Okay, one more question. So actually, in Ertha recently, we've been doing quite a few integrations. Like a KuCoin integration was our biggest one yet. We built a tower for them. So maybe you could imagine a way to integrate a Spintop into Ertha, or what would be the part of Spintop that you would maybe like to see integrated into Ertha?
Well, so Spintop, our logo, it's a Spintop that spins maybe like in. So first of all, we made a deal already, by the way. The Sears Tower, I think it's going to be the Spintop Tower. Not sure if it's finalized yet, but it's in the works. So that's like a trailer of what's coming. Hopefully, I'm not sure yet.
A sneak peek. Yeah, yeah.
We'll see. But our logo, I could imagine our logo. I mean, like there's pieces of art in the urban areas. Like for instance, in Chicago, Grant Park, there's the Cloud Gate, designed by Anish Kapoor, this urban designer, like artist. It could be our logo, in the middle of a park, like spinning. It could be animated or whatever. So that would be nice. Or on top of a building, it would be nice to have our logo spinning. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. Nice. Yeah. Lina, do you imagine that could be done?
Well, I think that could be done. Anything could be done in virtual space.
I don't want to give you extra work.
No, that's all good. It's actually great ideas. Since you always want something that is integrally integrated inside the game to have its own image, of what it is, what it represents, and obviously everything can be done. We'll see what our great designers will be able to do. So yeah, I think that's a great idea to have.
Yeah, if you Google Cloud Gate Chicago, you'll see it was an amazing meeting point for everyone visiting Chicago, because imagine this cloud, but make it metallic and it reflects the clouds. So the clouds are there. It's a gate, but it also reflects the beautiful architecture of Chicago. Yes. So it's such a photogenic place where millions and millions of people come. So many memories are there. It's very photogenic because you got all these angles. So it would add like a vibrant meeting point in the Ertha atmosphere also.
That's actually a great point. Well, photogenic, right? Like it's a good thing that we're making Ertha a bit more beautiful, like we've just released a development blog where we talked about how we're doing quite a lot of things on the graphical side, because it seems that the community really especially in this day and age, when technology is sufficient enough that even like a mid-tier or even a low-tier computer can really handle quite a lot of graphical things inside. Basically, they can make the game still look beautiful, right? So it was quite an important thing for our community and for gamers in general to just have a lot of eye candy inside the game. So yeah, it's quite quite a big part of what's currently being done, you know, is just making the whole Eartha more beautiful experience. But of course, well, the priority is making, you know, the economy, making, you know, the whole game function, because Eartha inherently is just a game where it's supposed to simulate the real world, and well, those mechanics are the most important. So maybe Linus can talk about that as well.
Additionally, it's nice to look nice on top of everything you're building, all the
Exactly,
philosophy and
exactly,
mechanics.
exactly.
Well, you know, I think what we are seeing and you know, this sphere of metaverses is that graphics are important. You know, the graphics that you see in real life with your eyes, you know, are pretty great. So if you want to have a virtual world, you need to have it somewhat decent, at least. You know, we've seen that in Meta. You know, they got a lot of, you know, bad feedback on how they're representing their own metaverse, and we've got our fair share too. So so that's I think that's a place where we have to give a lot of, you know, a lot of time to make it right. So for things like, you know, the Cloud Gate of Chicago, it attracts so many people because it looks visually stunning, you know. And if we would have something like that inside a metaverse, we would also want it to look visually stunning. So so yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's true, because, well, I think about like when I play games, the graphics aren't that important, but it really helps with the immersion. You know, it really makes, like, well, maybe I don't know, maybe that's a bad thing because you really disassociate from real life for at least a moment, you know, but it's still just such a good part of the gaming experience is to see beautiful visuals on your screen, and especially control, because you can watch a beautiful video, right? Like you can watch something that's, you know, pretty on your screen, but to actually play and to actually like be inside the world where it looks cool, it feels fun to play, and especially if there are play to earn aspects, if you can earn money playing the game, well, you know, that's like the full package. Like I wouldn't think I'd be doing too much else if there was a game that's just beautiful. You can earn money from it, you can socialize in it, you can, you know, spend as much time as you want in it, and hopefully that's what Eartha is gonna become, and we're gonna just, you know, be super addicted to Eartha. All right, so there's actually quite a good question in the chat still. So maybe we can do more farms and pools on Spintop together, like we've done in the past. Maybe it's gonna be some you know, another time to collaborate in the near future, because it seems that players might be looking forward
loves
to
it. Our community loves it. We'd be looking forward to doing it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. All right, are there any more questions in the chat? Let me just check. Guys, feel free to ask a few more questions if you want. We'll just go a few minutes extra.
Well, I just want to say, I think mechanics come first, right? The game mechanics need to work. I mean, I'm still able to play the 1998 game Red Alert 2, Command and Conquer. You look at the graphics; it's like almost 2D. Because why? The graphics are I mean, the mechanics are amazing, right?
Yes.
I mean, there's a storytelling aspect in between the scenes. There's the movies that they show, etc., which feed you with the gameplay. But mechanics comes first. Then it's amazing if it's looking beautiful.
Exactly. It's the same for me. You know, when I play a game, the mechanics are the thing that I'm looking for, so that it would be compelling, that it would be difficult but also understandable while you play, you know. So yeah, but when you have a good graphics on top, it's just, you know, just
creme de la creme.
Exactly,
yeah. Oh, and there's another good question in the chat. So what do you think are your biggest competitors? So let's say for Spintop first, or are you not really looking to them as competitors? Like, what do you think about this?
Not that I endorse Jeff Bezos, but I like his philosophy when it comes to how he built Amazon. He says, be consumer obsessed, right? Like user obsessed. Don't look at your competitors. Like if you provide them with, if you analyze them, how they interact on your website or your game, how they use you, like what they want, if you listen to them, and if you constantly develop your product, obsessed with your consumers, you're going to build the best product. Use your brain, listen to what your consumers say, and then you're going to come on top. So of course we have competitors, and we have ways to, like, I think we are building the better products, but it doesn't matter. They can also build better products than us. I'm saying this, but as long as we keep on listening to our target audience, and as long as we use our brain as much as we can, I think we will come on top. And also Turkey, like we have two unicorns that came out from Turkey in mobile games, Peak and Dream Games. You know, they were acquired by other companies for more than $1 billion. One of them for more than 2 billion. So we have this special network effect of game developers in Turkey. Keep that in mind, by the way, guys. If you need developers, like, you can find really good quality game developers for good prices, because we have huge inflation. Like $1 gets you 18.5 Turkish liras here. So we want to, on the long run, integrate Spintop with our local networks. You know, work hand in hand with developers, because we are seeing that out of the Web3, out of the Web2 game studios coming out, Web3 game studios, even in Turkey, slowly, they're getting like small investments. So we want to be starting working with them, you know, make Spintop exclusive games, become kind of like a publisher on the long run, etc. So these are our future goals, and it's unique to our location. So that's kind of our competitive edge. So hopefully we're going to be using that in the future on top of the platform building, you know.
So with the inflation, has it become harder to, just live and develop a project in Turkey?
So inflation makes it so hard to live if you're not earning currencies other than Turkish lira. So I'll give you an example. Like a car that's filled for 1,000 lira today was filled for 400 like 6 months ago, or a year ago it was like 250. Like, I don't know, sunflower oil, yogurt, water, everything is going up. Like it's crazy. It's a lot about the governmental decision. I'm not going to get into that, but this is why Turkey's cryptocurrency adoption rate is, I think, number 2 or number 1 in the world. Like, because people are like trying to find ways out of this. You know, like the smartphone usage here is also social media usage in Turkey is really high. So everybody's talking about crypto. What should we do? How can we make a way out of this inflation? So yeah, they find crypto is the answer. Of course, a lot of people get hurt, but also a lot of people find ways to beat the inflation this way.
All right, awesome. All right, perfect. I think those are all questions from the chat. So there's now only one thing left to do, and that is to reveal the exclusive code that players, viewers joining us are able to use for 10 extra entries into the giveaway. So I'm posting it in chat. The code is ERTHA Spins, which is very appropriate, of course, because the ERTHA does spin. So yeah, just enter that code in the chat. Refresh the giveaway if you don't see where to enter it. You'll see it as a yellow, entry code, and there you go. Just use those extra entries, and good luck in the competition. Make sure to join to win awesome prizes. So all right, let's wrap up the stream. Yalın, do you have a final message to our viewers before we sign off here?
Well, I really enjoyed this talk with you guys. I love what you guys are building. I'm really looking forward to it. I used to play similar games. I'm going to be obsessed with your game. I'm sure about it, because it has philosophy, you know, the gameplay. It's going to look beautiful. You guys are an amazing partner to us. Thanks for hosting us. And people can find us spintop.network. That's our website. That's our Telegram. That's our Twitter. So yeah, thank you for hosting us. Pleasure, guys.
Yeah, it was wonderful to have you on, honestly. Like, best guest so far. That was just an awesome conversation we have. I love how just free-flowing it was, and all right, Linas, your final words to end the stream?
Yeah, so hands down, I'm amazed how what a great partner Spintop is for us. So we've had a great discussion now, and I'm happy we could do it today. So
Thank you.
possibly more and more in the future.
Yeah, we'll definitely have you on at least one more time. We'll talk in the near future. Yeah, perfect.
Anytime.
Perfect. All right, so great. Once again, thank you so much to Yalın and for Spintop for joining us today. Yeah, we're looking forward to more collaborations in the future. And thanks to our viewers for tuning in. As always, you'll find us on our socials, which are at Twitter, it's at ERTHAGame, and on Discord, it's discord.gg/Ertha. So make sure to stay tuned to our socials. We'll have some more awesome news soon, and we'll see you next time. This is the Ertha Metaverse, signing out.